everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Eileen at Little Grace Nursery, and if you're new here, welcome. Hit like and subscribe and come back for all the fun. So I am almost at 550 subscribers. I don't know where I am this second, but when I left my house this morning to go to work, I was at 531. So once I reach 550, I have a Reborn doll giveaway. So stay tuned. You must be a subscriber. But that aside, I am so excited. I finally finished Ellie. Now, Ellie is a sculpt by Irina Kapelinskaya. I guess that's how you say her name. So what I'm doing with this video is just kind of putting it out there as like a little educational video. It's not a tutorial, but I'm taking you through the process of taking a lump of clay and making a realistic reborn baby. So, and through that process, I'm trying to, help people appreciate all the time and energy that goes into creating these dolls, starting with the sculptor who takes this lump of clay and makes a baby out of it. I am trying to learn how to sculpt, and it is hard. I'm not doing so well, but I'm not giving up. No, I'm not. So yeah, that's the part I can't show you is the sculpting part. So we have the sculptors, and they create these beautiful, beautiful little babies, and they make a mold of the baby that they've sculpted. And unfortunately, the United States is not a big doll manufacturing industry. It's just not there. So a lot of the sculptors, wind up sending their sculpts to other countries. Germany and China is the biggest manufacturer in the doll business. So, but that aside, once the molds are made and sent away and the vinyl kits are made, then that's where the artists like myself come in. We purchase the kit and we take the kit. It's like a blank canvas, and we create and bring life to that canvas and create a beautiful, realistic looking baby. So that's what we're doing today. I'm taking you through the process of the true art of reborning. So stay tuned, sit back, relax, and enjoy. It all starts with the sculptor with a vision of a baby in mind. Yep. And a big old bucket of clay. Now, I'm not a sculptor. I'm trying. I'm in the beginning stages. So, I'm not going to show you my sculpting. I'm going to leave that up to the experts. But this is what it starts with. And then that lump of clay and many, many, many steps in between, you wind up with a gorgeous little baby face and head, legs, feet, toes, arms, hands, and fingers. And then that's where I come in. I buy the kit. And like any artist, you want to be sure to prepare your canvas. So you want to wash real nice with soap and water. You want to get all the oils off of the outside, but maintain the inside. So you don't want to get the water inside, but you want to clean the outside. And once you've cleaned with soap and water, you want to give it a one-time over with a good scrubbing of alcohol. And that gets all the soap and debris and oils off. Otherwise, your paint may not take. And I always feel like a chemist because you want to make sure you're mixing your mediums and your paints and everything just perfectly. You don't want them too thick and you don't want them too watery. You want them just right. So we're going to start with some matte primer, and we're going to mix it up really well because we need to make sure that we have our primer on nice so the paint sticks really well. So we mix it up real good, but I'm not going to waste your time watching me mix. We need to finish the vinyl preparation by applying our matte coat, primer, whatever you want to call it, to the vinyl so we can help the paint stick. So you're going to put this all over. I'm not boring you with specifics right now, but I'm going to do the rest of it off screen, but we are in the final preparation of preparing the vinyl. And once you've applied all your primer, it sits on a rack to dry. Another part of preparing the vinyl is if you see flaws or indentations or little holes or little abnormalities, you use some vinyl putty to prepare or fix that part of the vinyl. Another part of it is removing stains. You can use one of the white plastic erasers. Sometimes that'll get rid of it. If not, then you need to use some of the Assist Special formula, and I have some on order right now, so I don't have that to show you. I'll put it up in the corner here or whatever. So then once you do all that and you've put the primer on, then it's time to bake it. Yep, you bake it. You bake it in an oven. And this is a bigger baby. She's, I think, 20, maybe 22 inches. So anyway, you have to bake her. And with the smaller babies, you can fit the legs in with the head and the arms. But this one you can't. You don't want the vinyl touching because if it does, it'll melt into each other. So you've got to keep them so that they're not touching. Therefore, we have to do the head and arms separate from the legs. And as you can see, I have a thermometer hanging from the heating element because you want to make sure that the heat reaches that point at which the paint and the mediums are cured. Otherwise, it will peel or not stay. So I use a New Wave oven, and my cook time will be 10 minutes. And my power level will be 6. And we are going to hit start. And once it cooks, we wait for it to dry, or cool down rather, and then we put the legs in. I'm not going to show you the whole process though. I forgot to mention that I use heat set paints, and that's why I have to bake them in between each layer. There are air dry paints, but you have to make sure they're completely dry in between each layer. So the second part is once we have our vinyl all prepped, we need to neutralize the vinyl. And what that means is sometimes vinyls are orangey or gray, or they're not like pure. It's not a pure clean palette, orangey, gray, yellow, whatever. So anyway, you have to do a color wash. So what's a color wash? A color wash means that you apply a very translucent bluish, greenish, even purplish, which I need to mix more up, or yellowish color to the vinyl to give it a paler, fleshy undertone color. You can use a color wheel and kind of see what color your vinyl matches the most. I guess it would be this right here. So then I would want my my color wash to look somewhere like this. But I usually just use, I stick to my blue wash here for most of them. Sometimes I wind up using the green wash also. But I'm going to start with the blue. Again, I'm not going to show you the whole process, but just to get an idea, we're going to take some of this translucent blue and we're going to paint it on. I'm going to do the rest off camera, but then we're going to take a blue sponge and we're going to just pat and get the excess off. And then I'm going to finish the rest off camera. But once I am finished, you guessed it, we're going to bake it again. Then comes veining and make it look real. No straight, stark lines. And nowhere to put the veins. You can't just throw veins in anywhere. You want it to look real. You have to blend the veining. Because you want it to look real. And yep, you have to bake. Our goal here is to create layers and add depth, because now we have these veins and we need to make them look like they're deep into the skin. So we're going to add modeling. So you make a modeling sponge and you do several layers of modeling. It's individualized, and I usually start with a light purple. I don't make it very dark. I can always add to the modeling. I got to put my glasses on. And then you just start adding. Again, it's not a tutorial, so I'm not going to do the whole thing right now. So I'll do a layer of purple, I'll bake. I'll do a layer of red, I'll bake. A layer of blue, I'll bake. Sometimes I switch off and do a couple different layers of red, maybe some light pink. It all depends. But always bake in between layers. After several layers of modeling, which I used a reddish purple, a red, and a blue, it is time to start the flesh tones. And that is used by any combination of your flesh colors and some maybe reds or purples, a little bit of reds to give it warmth. You can add any of the darker flesh tones, or you can use a burnt umber, and you need your paint thinner. And I also use thinning oil, and then you start just painting. And again, I'm not going to go over the entire process, but this is how you do it. And after I apply it to the whole body, then she gets baked, yep, again. And also I will be putting many, 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 many more layers of skin tone on her. I may add some modeling. I may add more modeling to her somewhere throughout the process. But as of right now, we're just going to keep adding skin tone and maybe some modeling. Also, while doing the skin tones, I also add a little bit of very translucent red or purple or pinks or whatever color to the ears and to the fingers and to the toes, and that helps give it a little color. So then when you are actually doing the shading and blushing and all, you don't have to glop a whole lot on there. So we do that. There's also lots of layers of undertones and creasing and shadowing and blushing. Not just a one-time color put on and done. It's multiple layers. And there's lots of little details like spider veining to eyes and the ears and to the ankles and wrists. There's so many little intricate details like nail beds, which is not just adding a one color onto it. And then, of course, there's the nail tips for that realistic look. And with a steady hand and a very fine brush, you add your nail tips. There's all kinds of details, like eyebrows and the inside of the eyes and creases in the nose and the little cleft in the lip here. And all kinds of undertones and skin tones that you wouldn't even think of. Shading, shadowing, creasing. Yep. It's artistic. And don't forget about the nostrils, because you want them to look real. You can either open them up, which I didn't show you, or you can make sure that you really get in there and do a nice shadow job so they look like they have depth and go all the way up into the sinuses. You have the palms of the hands and the little creases in the fingers and the fingertips, the veining, the little creases on the back of the fingers, the wrists, the arms. Can't really see too well in this light, but there's different skin tones and undertones in all the right places, shadowing, shading, and creasing. Once your doll is completed and all painted and looks very realistic, it's time to protect the paint job that you just put on it. So you want to mix up your mediums to seal the paint, and that is a mixture. You don't want it to get shiny, so we're using a matte. Actually, I'm using this one. You use a matte sealer, and oops, I didn't use that thinning. And then you use a thick medium, and you use some paint thinner, and you want to make sure that you mix it up really, really, really well. And then you take and you apply it. I'm not going to show you the entire thing because it's not a tutorial, but you apply your sealer, and I double seal all mine, and you wait for it to dry, you bake it, and then I put another coat on, wait for it to dry, and then I bake it twice. Oops. And then to add to the realism, you have to put your gloss on all of the right places. The lips, the corner of the eyes, around the eyes, the ears, the nail tips, and in the nostrils. And then while you're waiting for the glue inside of the head to dry, you want to stuff the body. You put fine glass beads in a stocking, and then you put it in the body, and then you fill the rest of it with polyfill, and then you do the same for the arms and the legs. You fill the glass beads to about here, and then you stuff the rest of it with the polyfill. And then you have to be a beautician too, and also cut and trim and shape the hair. That was a big learning curve for me. And then you put her all together, and you have a realistic looking baby. From her teeny tiny toes to her little fingers and fingernails and her little nose and her lips and her eyes and her eyelashes. So from a big old bucket of clay to this. Now that's art, don't you think? Stay tuned for her progression pictures and have a great day. Bye. Love you all. So yeah, this is my precious girl, and she is beautiful. And what I'm going to be doing, I have to still do her photo shoot and figure out how much I'm going to sell her for. And then I will do a video with her photo shoot, probably do a just a short with her beautiful pictures. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Come back and, support your artists. And we put a lot of love into these little babies. All right. Take care. I love each and every one of you. Have a good evening. Bye.